like here.
Okay.
These cars aren't stopped.
I got you. Yeah,
do you see,
right.
this is what we're
That's
seeing.
dangerous. A lot of people believe that if you're starting to cross a street, that cars have to stop and yield to you. That's not true. Whenever you're crossing a street and you're not at an intersection, you must yield to the oncoming traffic. And that's not what they're doing. They're just crossing and taking a chance. That's very dangerous.
What do you say to parents? Because ultimately, do teens realize sometimes that this is dangerous and the consequences?
I say the same thing to parents at a private school that I would say at a public school. Watch your kids when they're crossing the street. They may not know that you're there, but just follow them and see how they're walking to school, the routes they're taking to school, how they're crossing streets and intersections. And if they're not doing it safely, call them out on it. Let them know. But I would say like the first few days of school, especially if they're new to the school, follow them and make sure they're following the correct safety procedures.
It's interesting too because these are older teenagers. They're probably more in high school. Perhaps parents don't realize they need to have that conversation with them, but the reality is they don't have the best judgment all the time.
You're right, Jennifer, especially in elementary school, you have school safety patrols. Actually, elementary school kids are better at crossing streets than older kids. It doesn't seem like that would make sense, but it's true, because they have that constant reinforcement of the school safety patrols and the crossing guards there. Now, as they get older, they get away from that in middle school and in high school, but they still need to be constantly reminded, even though they're older.
When you see this area in particular, the cars that are basically flying off of the Hartbridge Expressway, they're in a hurry, it's in the morning, there's a lot more cars here than there are even now in the middle of the day. How does that add, of course, then to the danger as well?
It's very dangerous because you can't see all the cars that are coming off of the bridge. You can see the cars coming off of Beach Boulevard. It's still very dangerous. You're not really going to have a lot of breaks in there where it's safe to cross. Even though they can legally cross there, if they yield to traffic, I wouldn't advise it at all. They need to just walk further down, go to the light and follow the instructions of the traffic device. Once they have the walk sign or the stop sign from the light, then cross the street. It is much safer to do it that way.
Considering the things that I have showed you, are you surprised that no students have been hit, hurt, or killed?
I'm very surprised. I thought we would have had at least a few hit there this school year, the way they're crossing the street there. It's very dangerous, but I'm glad they're doing something instead of waiting for someone to be killed to do something. Do something now while the complaint is out there about the possibility of a traffic fatality.
So this is something else we found also, not just, of course, the students, but this car, this is the median right here, turning off of Beach to Parental Home, basically waiting to do a U-turn to pull into the school. This black SUV just drives right over the median, I guess because he doesn't want to wait for the light. And I'll play it here and you'll see he does it, and then, one second, let me fast forward here. Right there.
Right. Now, if a police officer were there, he could be cited for that. Two cars doing that.
And then a third one ends up doing it as well.
That tells me that's part of their regular flow, that they do that every day, especially when you see 2 and 3 cars in a row doing that. That's something that they do every day. Now, if a police officer had seen that, they could cite them. That's a $164 citation. You cannot cross over any median that divides a highway. You can't do that. So, because it's dangerous also because you have traffic coming from the other direction.
You know, it's interesting, we've talked about that, we've talked about kids who are running across, but what about the danger also to drivers who use this way? You know, a car pulls out in front of them because they hop the median, or a kid all of a sudden appears that they didn't ever see.
Yeah, now a lot of times if people drive the same route every day, they know there's a school there, they know the kids are crossing there, they're a little bit more cautious. They may look out, but it's still the responsibility of the pedestrian when they're not at a crosswalk to make sure that it's safe to go across. Again, I know I said this once, Jennifer, but I'm going to say it again. They should not be crossing here at all under any circumstance. They should go down to the light. I mean, they're young, they're energetic, they can walk down another 50 yards and then cross the street.